Hello, passengers, and welcome to the Midnight Train, America's second favorite podcast, where we bring the dark to light, where history never dies, and where listener discretion, it's pretty much advised all the time. We dive into, make fun of, and joke about the creepy and unsolved mysteries of the world, all while bringing you as much information on each topic as possible. Yeah, we consider ourselves kind of a comedy podcast, but things can get pretty dark. So listen, if you're not into that, no hard feelings. But if you are, listen, thanks for giving us a chance. And for all of you that are back again, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, man, half these people that listen, no, 3/4 of the people that listen to this show have no idea what that theme song is from.
No.
I guarantee it. Chainsaw will, because, well, he's old.
He was like 90 when that came out.
Right. Hey, I am your host, the conductor of the cryptic, Jonathan Sayer, and with me, of course, back in the co-host chair, it's the one, the only, Mr. Moody.
I'm actually not in a chair, though. I'm sitting on a bed.
And pantsless, from what we discussed.
I am correct. Yes.
This is, I don't even know what to say. It just, like I said earlier, that's amazing. It's amazing.
I have underpants on.
The technological advances that we have that allow you to sit there in your underwear, under a canopy in your own room, in your own house.
Correct.
And still do a podcast with me. I mean, dude, it's 2024, dude.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I feel like you're doing like 2034 or some shit. Like you're on it.
I'll probably be dead by then.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, listen, before we jump into anything, Moody, do me a favor, promote your band and your single real fast.
Oh, all right. It is now, just, it is up on Spotify now. I know we were just talking about that. God damn it, dude. You're funny. What did you, hold on. Who'd you say? Jeff? You said Jeff listened to it?
Yeah, Jeff Butchko actually listened to it. And he said it was awesome.
Jeff fucking Butchko.
Yeah. So the name of the band?
The name of the band is Forward to Contact.
Forward to Contact.
Yes.
Okay.
And the name of the song is Give It a Rest.
Give It a Rest. So you guys get out there, check that out. Support Mr. Moody.
It's like old school hardcore if you're into that kind of stuff, like New York style, East Coast hardcore, that kind of thing.
Even if you're not, get in there and listen to it and give them the plays. You know what I mean? Like, who cares?
Dickheads.
Yeah, just press play and like take your headphones off. Like whatever, it doesn't matter.
Dude, the song is under 2 minutes long. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, that's old school hardcore. That'll do that. Yeah.
And
go ahead.
We have like 7 or 8 songs right now, and I'm pretty sure if we played them all back to back, it'd be like maybe like 15 minutes worth of stuff.
That's amazing.
Oh, it's good. It's good stuff.
That's amazing. And speaking of Jeff and I and Logan, you guys remember Logan and our good friend Davey the Vato. Well, we just dropped 4 episodes of the Generation AFK podcast where they are teaching me everything about gaming, because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing and I'm really horrible at it. And it's pretty funny, but it's also very informative, especially if you're an old school gamer, if you're an older guy like myself. Like, you get out there and you're like, I have no idea what this is. It's great. Do us a favor, get out there, Generation AFK, find it wherever you can, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
What does the AFK stand for?
Well, if you listen to the show,
I haven't yet.
It's away from keyboard.
Oh, okay.
I didn't come up with the name. Anyway, so check that out.
That was a Jeff thing. Wasn't
that
it?
Was totally a Jeff thing. Yeah. All right. So do us a favor, do that, review that, like put up some, whatever you can do to help out with both my, the new podcast and with Moody's new single. And I guess we'll just save the rest of the business stuff until the end. We had to get our plugs in there. So let's turn down the lights. Adjust our seats, grab a drink, and let's get back to part 2 of the Western mysteries, because we talked about the history before. Now we're going to talk about the mysteries. See what I did there?
Oh, shit.
Right. But first, here's a toast to all you beautiful motherfuckers.
You got my cup again.
Your glow-in-the-dark cup?
Feels good. What you drinking?
Well, I was drinking a concoction I came up with.
Do I dare ask what it is?
So I ran out of simple syrup.
Okay.
So
sugar, water, got you.
Right. Instead of making my own because I just got off work and I was tired, I was like, you know what? I wonder if I can make an old fashioned with chocolate syrup. So I added chocolate syrup and then I added some orange bitters to it with some Buffalo Trace bourbon, and it was okay. But then I had some coffee extract. So then I added a little coffee extract to it, and it's delicious. Yeah, it's like a chocolate bourbon espresso teeny kind of thing.
You see my face right now?
I see your face right now. Go get your PBR and shut up.
It sounds like you're drinking vomit, to be quite honest with you.
I mean, later it might be like that, but as of right now, no, it was delicious. I was surprised at how good it turned out to be. Anyway, moving on.
You're high, aren't you?
No, I've just had a couple of those.
I guess after the first couple, they don't taste like anything, right?
It's good. So you guys remember last episode, we pretty much did the history of the Wild West, how it came to be, and, you know, all the horrible atrocities that took place, especially to the Native Americans. So after all that shit, we're going to start talking about some mysteries, if you will. Some of history's mysteries.
We're gonna get sued. We're gonna get sued for that.
I didn't say the G words. No, actually, I was on the show. I can say whatever I want.
Oh, you were. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. History's greatest mysteries. If you're new here, I was on there, and guess what? I wasn't on again. So
they must have been really hurting for people, man.
Oh, they were. It was between me and Logan. So
how do they fucking? I just want to know. Like,
I still ask the same question. I asked the same question.
Like, hey, let's get this fucking guy from North Olmsted, Ohio, or Olmsted Falls, Ohio.
Yep.
That has America's second favorite podcast.
Right. And I don't get it either, but it still happens.
Do you think they heard you say that and they just didn't bother to check and they were like, "Oh, people must really like these guys."
Well, no, I had to go through and do like an entire like a demo reel and stuff, like several times with like different producers and everything else, over and over again, dude. Yeah, I had to do quite a few of them. And then they asked me to come back, or asked if I'd be interested in doing Stonehenge, the episode of the, and so I did my demo reel for that, and then I never heard back from anybody. That's all right.
You didn't know shit about Stonehenge.
I know everything there is to know about Stonehenge.
Oh yeah, who built it?
Your mom. Hey-oh! Yeah! No.
First of all, it was Chainsaw. Second of all,
damn it. I missed it. I did. All right, so first up, we're getting into the Tombstone Thunderbird. Ooh.
Oh, shit. Son.
It sounds like a really, like an old Ford that is just doesn't have any wheels.
My first car was a Tombstone Thunderbird.
Tombstone Thunderbird. So in 1892, cowboys had an incredible encounter, if their reports are to be believed.
Oh.
So the idea of the story here is they pretty much saw a giant flying bird, shot and killed the son of a bitch with their rifles, and carried its carcass away into town. That seems to be what the gist of the story is.
Right.
Okay. So a report on April 26th of 1890 by Tombstone Epigraph listed the creature's wingspan as an alarming 160 fucking feet. Woo! That is more. That's 3/4 of a football field in length.
That's it's as tall as a 16-story building. Its wingspan was the size of a 16-story building.
That's a big bitch right there. That's a huge bitch. That's a huge bitch. And noted that the bird was about 92 feet in length, about 50 inches around the middle, and had a head about 8 feet long. Okay. I don't even know what to say at that point. I mean, so the beast was said to have no feathers, but smooth skin and wing flaps composed of a thick and nearly transparent membrane easily penetrated by a bullet because, well, they shot the damn thing. So, yeah. Perhaps the most challenging part of this story to swallow is that 2 horses could manage to haul a dead behemoth like this for any distance. I mean, yeah, because that thing would have to weigh a lot.
Tons.
A lot.
Tons.
Yeah. So it sounds like a typical tall tale of the Wild West, and that's probably what it is, but it does contain a small minutia of truth. In 1870, Harry McClure claimed that as a boy, he knew the 2 cowboys from the story, and later on in their lives, and they had told him different versions of the story. McClure said that the giant bird they saw in the desert had a wingspan of 20 to 30 feet, which is definitely a lot. That's still big for any creature. I mean, that's huge.
Definitely more palatable, though.
It's better than 160.
Semi-believable at that point.
Right. I mean, but that's still big. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2 riders shot at the creature, but it was out of range. They spooked their horses and they refused to chase it. So the men rode into town empty-handed, carrying only news of the one that got away, which it sounds like an entirely different story than what has been, relayed through the years here.
Yeah.
So the Tombstone newspaper. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say there was well, actually, go ahead. I think what I'm going to say actually goes with what you're about to talk about.
Okay. Well, the Tombstone newspaper printed its highly embroidered version of the cowboy sighting, which was spared from fading into obscurity by its inclusion in a 1930 book on the Old West. In 1963, the story came to the attention of writer Jack Pearl, who revived the tale for an article in a pulpy men's adventure magazine called Saga. As if, I had that subscription as well. Yeah.
I know you like your pulpy men's.
Yeah,
magazines.
I do. As if the epigraph report hadn't spiced up the facts enough already, Pearl liberally embellished the encounter into a dramatic rip snorter entitled. I was trying to understand what I was reading there. It said rip snorter. I've never heard of a rip snorter.
I know, that's why it's in there, because it's a great fucking word.
Rip snorter. Is that where you because you're laughing so hard?
No, it just means it's fucking fantastic. It's a fantastic tale. I'm gonna start you like our podcast is a fucking rip snorter, dude.
Absolute. Oh, that's a good shirt.
Yeah.
Especially with my mustache I'm going to be growing here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's quite a rip snorter.
People are going to wonder how many children you've molested.
Oh, man. None. 0, by the way. 0.
Oh, no, I'm not saying you have.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
What
yeah.
you're going to look like.
That's fine. That's fine. It's just.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't care. That's fine.
I mean, I'd rather, you can say whatever you want, but nope. So anyway, this rip snorter was entitled Monster Bird That Carries Off Human Beings.
Oh.
Pearl pushed the date of the encounter back to 1886, and he described the witnesses as 2 prospectors who killed the bird and proudly showed off their trophy in Tombstone. Pearl added some extra conflict by telling how a second Thunderbird snatched up a heckler who had ridiculed the prospectors and flew away with him and his talons. That
bird was just like, oh yeah, fuck you, man.
Hecklers. Like someone's reading it going, oh, this is so like, ah! Oh God. But Pearl's most significant editorialization was that he said the epigraph newspaper story had run with a photograph of the giant bird's carcass, nailed up to a wall with its mighty wingspan unfurled and several men posing next to it for scale. Okay. So now this part of the legend, the Thunderbird photo, has taken on a life of its own.
Okay, this is what I was going to mention, but yeah, go ahead.
So his fictional account of a photograph of Old West settlers with a big dead bird was picked up and just spattered all over the damn place, right? And evolved into that. Basically, it involved just basically like he wanted it to be. This thing created it. So the guy he heard a story that it was probably made up to begin with, and overdid it with it, and it just snowballed.
For sure. I'm gonna pull up the picture real quick because I guarantee you've all seen the one picture that makes its rounds. That actually this story has what's the fucking word I'm looking at? Like inspired this photo. Let me see. Okay, yeah, this is the picture. Sorry, dude, I'm trying, okay? All right. So I don't know how good you're gonna be able to see it, but I know. Have you seen? I don't know if you can.
Hold on. Let's see if it'll focus. I've never seen that picture before.
Do you see it? Can you tell what it is?
No, it's just big white blur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's way better. Yeah. Okay. First of all, that is not 160 fucking feet.
No. Well, this is the one that they said ran in the newspaper.
It's a fucking pterodactyl, dude.
Exactly. But that picture has been making its rounds. That supposedly is like the picture that that the newspaper ran that proved that this thing was real and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So people have been going with that for years.
We'll make sure to put that picture in the show notes so you guys can check it out, and we'll post it up on our socials.
This is the other one. There's another one, and it's this one. This is the one they said when they said it was like nailed to the thing.
Oh yeah,
that's that one.
It doesn't even look remotely real in any way, shape, or form.
It doesn't.
Like, dude, the guys look super imposed in front of that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's obviously a fake, but those are the pictures that, and you know how fucking dumb people are. So people are like, oh, it's definitely real, but clearly it's not. So.
Right. Well, in time, people who heard the story began to believe they had previously seen the photo with their own eyes. I remember seeing that. Yeah. Somehow, people felt convinced that they had once marveled at the strange picture in some old book or newspaper, often noting that they didn't realize the significance of the photo then and regretting that they had not kept the picture. Okay. The details might differ from one recollection to the other, with some recalling the bird had feathers, others saying it looked more like a pterodactyl. That's what that first picture looked like for sure.
Yeah.
Some thinking the bird was nailed to a wall. The second picture looked like that. And others remembering that it was held with wings outstretched by a large group of men. But no matter the circumstances here, each person feels certain that they actually saw that picture, which is wild. That's just absolutely wild to me.
Do you know why you can't hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom?
Because the P is silent. Yeah, you can't tell that we have kids at all, right?
We bring you only the best here.
That's right. It's highbrow humor is what that is.
If you haven't heard that one, I don't know where you've been.
Oh God! So many people have reported that they saw the Thunderbird photo, in Fate, a magazine called Fate, or an article, whatever, National Geographic, Grit, or some other publication, right? Still, entire archives of these periodicals have been searched, and there have been no pictures ever pop up from this damn thing. The experts in the cryptozoology field, that's like your favorite field, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I one of these days, maybe I'll quit everything I'm doing to become a cryptozoologist, but
sounds fun.
I'm not ready to be that poor yet, so still got kids.
So they are, no less susceptible to the Thunderbird recollections than anybody else, with Ivan T. Sanderson and John A. Keel among those who claim to have once held the photo in their hands. Some accounts of seeing the photo are exact, and some people actually believe it, and they have a very persuading, remembrance of said picture.
Yeah.
So what could this damn thing been? What could it been? What could it have been? A leftover dinosaur? Probably not. An actual Thunderbird? Gonna say no. A giant crane or something similar? Still not gonna say that. Or was it nothing at all? I don't know. But we'll probably
I feel like there's gotta be some grain of truth in this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like the one guy who was like, well, I know them. They said it was this big and it flew away and they didn't, they were unable to shoot at it, blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like it may have been something like that, just like a fucking gigantic ass bird that nobody had really seen.
That nobody's seen around there.
And perspective is everything. I mean, from where they were and seeing the bird, depending on how far away it was, they said they couldn't shoot at it because it was too far away. I mean, that could give the impression that the motherfucking thing was just gigantic.
Yeah, it could have been a large crane.
When it could have been like a fucking vulture with like a 6-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
there probably weren't any condors
that have like 6 to 8 foot wingspans, and if you don't know, and it's kind of off in the distance, and you're just like trying to guess, like you never know. Like that 8 feet could turn to 20 feet.
And let's be honest, they were prospectors, so they were probably drunk.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, doing that peyote.
Oh man,
just saying. So again, it's the Mothman thing all over again, where somebody.
Well, the Mothman's real, so I don't know. What?
Okay, I'm just going to move on.
Next, you're going to tell me you don't believe in Bigfoot.
I did not say that. I did not. I see him every time your pretty face pops up on this screen, buddy. So where would one of the last places you'd ever expect to find a ship now? Okay, moving on here. Perhaps
an old wooden ship.
An old wooden ship. Yes. What about the desert? Do you think you'd ever find one out in the desert?
Maybe if you've ever seen the movie Sahara with Matthew McConaughey.
I have not, and I heard it's a really bad movie, by the way.
It's not great, but it's one of those that like it's kind of entertaining to watch, even though it's so bad. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous, but like you know what? It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Well, if the tales are to be believed here, that's precisely. I'm having a bad day.
You're on fire tonight.
Yep, that is exactly where you'll find something like a ship in the California desert. A ship full of treasure buried somewhere in the sand. Of all the legends about lost and found and lost yet again, found but lost again treasures in the Southwest, there is none more mysterious than the enduring tale of a large sailing vessel that lies full of riches somewhere in the restless sands of California's Salton Sea Basin toward the northern end of the Sonoran Desert. Ooh. Is it Sonoran or Sonoran? I don't know.
Sonoran.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Implausible as it sounds, the wreck of an ocean-going ship 100 miles or more inland from either the Pacific or the Gulf of California. The story has persisted for centuries in reports from Indian people, Spanish explorers, prospectors, migrants, and treasure hunters, which I've never heard of this, by the way.
Well, now you have.
I actually
hadn't heard of this. Like I've heard of other tales of like in Africa, like the northern Africa, like I've heard of stories like that of ships that get stranded in the desert because there used to be a river that went through there, or there was like some sort of like inland body of water, and obviously they disappear over time. But
I mean, at some point in time,
never heard of one here.
There was a lot more water on Earth than there is now at one point in time. So, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that something like that could happen. So, sure. How could a ship come to rest on desert sand so far from salt water, you might be thinking to yourself? One explanation holds that a massive tide from the Gulf of California may have collided with exceptionally heavy runoff from the Colorado River at the Delta, producing a huge flood that broke through the land barrier to the Salton Sea. Okay, that's plausible, right?
Yeah, sounds plausible.
Right. The cresting waters could have carried a ship over the natural dam and into the Salton Sea Basin, and the flood would have then retreated, leaving the vessel stranded, which, dude, we do have to discuss or do an episode on the ELEs that have taken place on Earth, like the big floods that took place, the extinction level events that transpired. Yeah, I really want to do an episode on that because it is crazy where people are always like, oh, the asteroids. I'm like, the Earth's been reborn like 7 times, at least parts of it.
We've talked about that before, about how it's very possible that there was a civilization that was just as advanced, if not more than us.
The Atlanteans.
Everything got fucking wiped out,
There were a lot of them. If you go into, I guess, lore of it, that it's very, very plausible, dare I say again, that there were at some point in time advanced peoples that got wiped out. And when you talk about the, Atlanteans and stuff like that, and people are like, oh, Atlantis is just a myth and stuff like that. But I mean, there are some really convincing theories, especially when you talk about where Atlantis could have technically been. And I discussed that. And I hate to bring this up again. I wish I had I'll do it anyway. Sorry. When I was on the History Channel, we actually discussed that a little bit, where there's a spot that where they believe the Atlanteans were that could have potentially been completely wiped out by natural disaster,
I was just reading something about that recently, that they think they found it again. Of course, they think they figured out where it was. It's somewhere. This one put it somewhere off, like South America, like over near like Chile, like somewhere in that area, like up north. I think it was somewhere over in South America.
And I believe you mean Chile.
Chile, sorry.
Yes, thank you.
But it was like, as I was reading it, I'm like, man, it's obviously I don't know shit, so
exactly,
it sounds convincing as fuck to me. So.
No, exactly, and that's one thing we will always say to everyone is like, we are very with that old school. We know that we know nothing. You know what I mean? Like that's the bottom line. Like we have no idea. We barely even know what the fuck we're talking about here. So
which goes back to, if we're wrong, blame the internet.
Correct, 100%. So now that scenario that I just mentioned prior to our little segue there rests on an unlikely about how the dam and it could have pushed it over. So that whole thing rests on an unlikely coincidence of events, but the topography of that area, the potential for monumental flooding, the early explorations by Spanish vessels, and tragedy in the 20th century, it all gives some credence to the possibility of a shipwreck in the desert. The Gulf.
Does it give some credence Clearwater revival though?
It does actually.
Yeah,
actually give a little bit. It gives some CCR to the entire thing.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
The Gulf of California and the Salton Sea were once connected before the Colorado River Delta emerged to separate them. In historic times, the Gulf of California's incoming tides and the river's outflow produced world-class, what they call tidal bores, or walls of water moving up the stream bed. Okay, so you'd get that, that resonance from basically like small little tsunamis at that point.
Correct.
I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
So the basin at more than 270 feet below sea level, which is pretty low, would serve as a ready receptacle for floodwaters. Okay, and that's kind of along the same lines that I was talking about before with the Atlanteans or whatever, Atlantis. So Spanish vessels, Spanish vessels. Those Spanish vessels, many penny. They sailed.
I realized that I was doing a Sean Connery podcast.
Sean Connery is here. Yes, that's right. We're talking about Spanish vessels. Just eat your face when you talk. So the Spanish vessels sailed into the Delta in the 16th century, seeking treasures and open passages. A colossal tidal bore moved up the Delta stream bed in 1922, capsizing a steamship and killing 86 of 125 passengers.
Jesus.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot.
That's on the Colorado River?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's documented. So what they're saying is, if something like that could happen, then potentially it could do,
I mean, sure, especially back in the day, that was 1922. So you got to think that things were a little bit crazier possibly back in fucking like the 1500s when the Spanish were like, you know what I'm saying?
And there was nothing there other than the land.
Right.
There was no buildings. Right. There was no, and it does say that tidal bores no longer occur in the Delta area because agricultural and municipal usage depleted the river's water before it reaches the Gulf. Again.
Right. So there you go. Back then, the water level was way higher. The river was probably a lot crazier. Shit went down, it's possible.
Absolutely. So it would seem most likely that the ship, if it actually exists out there, would be a Spanish vessel. But some have speculated that it might be a craft from the navy of King Solomon or the 10 lost tribes of Israel.
Shit, King Solomon.
Yeah. Or a warring people from the Indian Ocean or a band of pirates.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's possible. I don't think pirates, I don't think that, I guess the time, it could work. It could work.
But King Solomon over in the delta of the Colorado River,
bro.
Oh,
I mean, they don't even know if King Solomon was
real.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So in an alternate storyline, which appeared in an Antonio de Fierro Blanco's book, The Journey of the Flame. Hey, that's a great name. A celebrated Spanish coastal pilot named Iturbe sailed his 50-ton pearl-laden ship from the Pacific through a natural channel into the Salton Sea in the year 1615.
Yeah, 1600s, 1500s, yeah.
Again, the topography of what it looked like back then, we can only speculate because things weren't documented like they are now.
No.
I mean, we just don't know. We have no idea. And then you have all these different things that happen throughout history that just completely changes the topography of anything. You know what I mean?
Speaking of topography, do you know about that map that supposedly shows Antarctica hundreds of years before Antarctica was ever discovered.
Is that the one where you can see like ships and shit like that? Is that the one you're talking about?
I don't know about that, but it shows like the northern, I guess technically they're all northern, but it would be like the coastline of Antarctica, like underneath like South Africa. Like it shows like the coastline, and it's like very accurate. And the map was made like hundreds of years before Antarctica was discovered.
Well, I mean, we've discussed Antarctica and, you know, how all these countries came together and basically said, okay, no one's allowed to go there, and we're all going to make an agreement on this. So you are not allowed.
Don't spoil it, bro.
Huh?
Don't spoil the wilderness of Antarctica.
But is that why they don't want us to do that?
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea, bro.
Because it's pretty much just ice, right? I mean,
as far as we know,
right? So I don't know.
Maybe that's the wall where the flat Earth ends, bro.
It drops off. I mean, and there was theory that Hitler actually took his entire Gestapo and everything else down there after
supposedly,
allegedly,
they had bases there.
Yeah.
Supposedly,
yeah. So who knows? So now, a century and a half later, according to Fierro Blanco, a mule driver named, Tiburcio Mancerna.
Did you say tuberculosis, Mantero?
That's where I was going with it, I swear to God. No, it's Tiburcio Mancerna, but I was thinking, okay, there's our tuberculosis for this episode.
Yeah. Sure.
It's close enough.
Probably plenty of tuberculosis going around.
Yeah. Who accompanied the famous Juan Baptista de Anza in his search of a land route from Sonora to Alta, California, claimed that, quote, I was sent to the right of the course, seeking a road to the ocean. Traveling by night because of the heat, I stumbled upon an ancient ship, and its hold were so many pearls as is beyond imagination. Fevered by this wealth, I took what I could carry, abandoned my comrades, and riding toward the ocean as far as my mule could carry me, I climbed the precipitous western mountains on foot. Fed by Indians, I at last reached San Luis Rey Mission. Since then, I have spent my life searching for this ship.
This dude was like, look at all these pearls. I'm filling my shit with pearls. Fuck y'all.
Fuck y'all. I'm gone. He's just pearls. Just pearls just dropping out as he's rolling and shit. Like, how do we find him? Follow the fucking pearls, man. I don't know. Like, so while in the camp of Don Fermin Sanjudo, a Spanish explorer, Mancerna whispered the story to Juan Colorado, who finally revealed the secret on his 104th birthday.
Hey, I found some pearls, bro.
Guess what? I know where it is.
There's a ship in the desert.
It says it on his 104th birthday, though. Say what?
Yeah. The guy's like listening, like, all right, you're insane. You're old and you're dying and you're insane.
Yeah, or he's like, huh? What? I found some pearls. So in a puzzling conclusion to the story, Fierro Blanco said, quote, I have known as a boy natives from every tribe in the Baja California Peninsula, and they taught me much of great value, but never did one lie to me. Some of their stories I did not then believe, but each as tested proved to be true in all parts. Oh, okay.
Yeah, why the fuck would the Indians lie, bro? What do they got to gain from that?
Right. So now in yet another story, and published by the Los Angeles Star in November 12th of 1870, a man named Charlie Klusker and a party... it says...
Damn it, dude. That is a typical fucking Old West name.
Made up.
Charlie
it sounds made
Klusker.
Up. Yeah, Charlie Klusker. And a party started out, it says, quote, again this morning to find the mythical ship upon the desert this side of Dos Palmas, located on the northeast side of the Salton Sea Basin. Charlie made the trip 3 or 4 weeks ago, but made the wrong chute, I don't know, and mired his wagon 15 miles from Dos Palmas. He is satisfied from information he has received from the Indians that the ship is no myth. He is prepared with a good wagon, pack saddles, and planks to cross the sandy ground. End quote. Yeah.
Okay, so this dude went out to look for it because the Indians told him it was real.
Right. Oh, Charlie Klusker. Yeah.
Does it say anything about what happened to Charlie Klusker?
Well, It says that the Star printed another story a few weeks later on December 1st saying that, quote, Charlie Klusker and a party fucking died. No, I'm just kidding. It didn't say that.
He did.
That would have changed things. They returned from the desert yesterday just as we were going to press. They had a hard time of it, but they have succeeded in their effort. The ship has been found. Charlie returns to the desert today to reap the fruition of his labors. He was without food or water under a hot broiling sun for over 24 hours and came near perishing. Oh, I feel like this newspaper's full of shit is what I think it is.
So Charlie Klusker apparently found the ship again.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So Klusker set out again for what he described as an ornately carved Spanish ship, complete with crosses and broken masts, mostly buried in the sand several miles from the nearest water. But Charlie Klusker has yet to hear from anyone. I don't know.
So he never came back.
I guess that's a really weird way to say that he just disappeared and never came back.
So he just died finding the ship. He went back to
either
find
that
the
or
ship, and he just,
or he never existed, and
or he went and took all the pearls and fucking said, "Fuck y'all, I'm out."
Possible. I mean, because it did happen prior, right?
Hey, I mean, if he found it and found all the shit, he was probably like, "I'm not sharing this shit with nobody."
Yeah, it's very true.
Just fucking disappeared, kept going east, and fucking rode all the way to New York City.
Yeah, or it could have been, you know what could sell some papers? I heard about a ship in the desert. Bill, what's your dad's name? Charlie. Why? What's your mom's maiden name? Klusker. Why? That's it. I got an idea. All right, so we know that you silly fuckers out there like UFOs, as does Mr. Moody.
Yes, that is correct.
So here are some UFO stories for you, okay, and pertaining to the Old West. The most detailed and most dramatic encounter between cowboys and aliens occurred in 1897 in Texas, which, by the way, I'm sure you've seen that movie, right?
Yes, I have.
I actually thought it was awesome.
I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was super cool.
Again, it's an entertaining movie.
Right. Like, just,
you can't go into it thinking it's going to be like an Oscar fucking...
Right. Turn your fucking brain off. Yeah, turn your brain off, watch the movie. All right, it's good.
Solid cast. Very good cast.
Absolutely. It's freaking James Bond, man. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Liam Neeson's in it too, isn't he?
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen it. I don't know.
Or is it Harrison Ford? It's Harrison Ford's in it. That's right. It's Harrison Ford and fucking James Bond.
Harrison Ford is in it, yeah. Did you hear, by the way, that Liam Neeson, they're trying to cast him as the new Naked Gun guy?
I did.
I don't like that.
I feel about it.
I don't like that.
I guess so. I read a little bit because somebody said something about that on Facebook. Was it Justin Kowalczyk?
I think it was Justin.
And so I kind of looked into it a little bit, and I guess it's not like a remake. They're kind of like, it's like a reboot, basically, from what I can tell.
But are they going to make him?
They're not trying to remake the old one, but they're kind of like rebooting it as a new thing.
But they're going to make Leslie Nielsen try to act like, or not Leslie Nielsen, but Liam Neeson. Wow, that's weird. Whoa. Yeah. Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen. Whoa. I just blew my own mind. Sorry, go ahead. It's those chocolatinis. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I don't I don't know. I don't really know how they're going to do it. I don't know what the old, I don't know what the premise is going to be or any of that shit, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think it's a terrible idea, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm not. Again, we'll see what happens. So anyway, back to the UFOs here and the Cowboys. So this account allegedly ran in the April 19th Dallas Morning News in 1897. Quote, about 6 o'clock this morning, the early risers of Aurora, Texas were astonished at the sudden appearance of the airship which has been sailing throughout the country. It was traveling due north and sailed over the public square, and when it reached the northern part of town, it collided with the tower of Judge Proctor's windmill and went to pieces with a terrific explosion, scattering debris over several acres of ground.
Wow. Impressive.
Well, is it because you got all this way, but yet you couldn't avoid hitting a fucking windmill?
Maybe the engines were fucked.
I don't know, I guess. So this story is remarkable enough, but the account takes on even a more modern twist. Quote, the pilot of the ship is supposed to have been the only one aboard, and while his remains were disfigured, enough of the original has been picked up to show that he was not an inhabitant of this world.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It did not look human.
This toe looks very, very weird. Why? It's blue. Well, he is dead, Clark. I'm just saying. Like,
also, we couldn't find a penis.
Jesus Christ. So Mr. T.J. Weems of the U.S. Army gives his opinion that the pilot was a native of the planet Mars. Oh, shit.
Oh,
Papers.
Old West dudes talking about Mars. All right. Let's go.
Papers found on his person, evidently the records of his travel, are written in some unknown hieroglyphics and cannot be deciphered. The ship was built of an unknown metal, resembling somewhat of a mixture of aluminum and silver, and must have weighed several tons. The town today is full of people who are viewing the wreckage and gathering specimens of strange metal from the debris. Okay. So this is from 1897. They're talking about this.
Yeah.
That's
Fucking A, man.
pretty magnificent. So this UFO encounter, complete with a crash spacecraft. Yeah, that's about right. Yep. Didn't mean to say it that way, but that's about right. Dozens of witnesses, a recovered dead Martian, and metallic wreckage come not from a novelist, but instead from a credible witness and respected reporter for the newspaper, Mr. E. Hayden.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So that's the guy who said
Hayden.
allegedly said that. So yeah. So it's a pretty good story. However, we're sad to say that after more research, we found that there is little to zero evidence this ever actually happened. And many parts of the story actually don't match in anything reality based. So that's yeah.
It's sad, dude.
Yeah. For instance, there was no window in the area for a UFO to crash into. Okay.
Windmill. There's no windmill.
Okay. Well, that's your fault for putting that.
Well, you didn't fucking proofread it, so fuck off.
I proofread every part else, but it's okay. Windmill. God damn it. There was zero. There was no window for it to crash into. I mean,
I know.
That's why I was like, I mean, it makes sense. Did they have glass? I don't know.
Of course.
Also, there was no follow-up to the story, and no actual pieces of the wreckage were ever actually seen or found. So it looks like it was made up to drive people to come to the city and bring some money in. But it's still fun. Like, it's fun. Whatever. It's a cool story, especially back then.
Sure.
You're reading a newspaper and from the next town over, and you're like, oh, shit.
Let's go see the spaceman, and we'll fucking shoot him if he's still alive.
But Mama, what's Mars? Baby, nobody knows. I mean, it's the 1890s. Come on.
It's something that them weird Greeks made up years ago, saying that there was planets and other things. They don't know what they're talking about.
Them damn Greeks. They got hairy arms. We don't trust them. And if you're Greek, I'm kidding. Okay. But you do have hairy arms. Anyway. So. So then there is this so-called airship wave of 1896 through 1897. The first wave of airship sightings took place primarily in California and along the west coast of the United States from November 17th to mid-December of 1896. With a few isolated sightings in California during January, there was also at least one sighting reported in British Columbia. It's pretty wild. Never heard about this either.
No.
So on November 18th of 1896, the Sacramento Bee and the San Francisco Call. Okay, there were so many fucking newspapers back then, dude. There were so many
dumb names.
Well, because there was nothing else out there. It was newspaper, because that's how you got your news. You know what I mean? There wasn't radio, there wasn't TV, and so every other person had and they also, the whole premise of a newspaper back in the day. Like, have you ever seen Deadwood?
No, we had this discussion.
Dude, for everyone out there, please seriously watch that fucking show. Find it, pay for it. I don't give a shit. Watch it, because it actually shows. I mean, it's a very proper story.
Accurate.
Yeah, it's historically accurate. But the guy who's running the newspaper, like, he has these little blocks that he has to like set in here,
like typesetting and shit,
to do each fucking page. You know how long it took to do one page?
Printing presses, man. And then you got to like crank the fucking thing.
Yeah. And then ink it up. And if you wanted more copies, it all came from that same fucking thing. Like, it took a week to do a newspaper. So I don't understand how they came out every day. I just don't get it. I don't. I guess tenacity. I don't know. Whatever.
Maybe they could see the future.
I bet you that's what it is. So they all believe that that this whole thing, the sighting, took place the night before, so on November 17th of 1896. Okay, yeah. Witnesses reported a light moving slowly over Sacramento on the evening of November 17th at an around 1,000-foot elevation. Some witnesses said they could see a dark shape behind the light.
Oh
yeah. So the November 19th, 1896 edition of the Stockton, California Daily Mail featured one of the earliest accounts of an alleged alien craft sighting. Colonel H.G. Shaw, fuck yeah, claimed that while driving his buggy through the countryside of Lodi near Stockton, he came across what appeared to be a landed spacecraft. Shaw described it as having a metallic surface that was completely featureless apart from a rudder and pointed ends.
Okay.
He estimated a diameter of 25 feet and said the vessel was around 150 feet in total length.
That bird those motherfuckers saw was bigger than that.
Like fucking 4 times. More than that. Jesus.
Yeah.
3 slender, 7-foot tall apparent extraterrestrials approached from the craft while, quote, emitting a strange warbling noise.
Oh.
They come out like wobble, wobble, wobble. The beings reportedly examined Shaw's buggy and then tried to force him to accompany them back to the airship physically. So they literally tried to manhandle him like,
come on, bitch, you go with us.
You're coming with us. So the aliens were said to give up after realizing they lacked the physical strength to force Shaw aboard. Okay, Shaw is so full of shit. He's like, I'm a badass. Not only did I see this, but I fought them fuckers off.
I fought off 7-foot tall aliens.
You should have seen them,
bro.
You should have seen them. I fucking flexed one bicep and popped him in the eye. So they fled back to their ship, which lifted off the ground and sped out of sight. Shaw believed the beings were Martians. Shocker. Sent to kidnap an Earthling for unknowable but potentially nefarious purposes.
Well, why else would they kidnap an Earthling?
Can we just have a shirt that says for unknowable but potentially nefarious purposes?
Yeah, that's a great line.
That should be the name of this entire podcast.
Yeah.
The Midnight Train.
Why do you guys do what you do? Well, for unknowable and
potentially nefarious purposes.
Oh, the story of my life right there.
I'm going to write that one down real fast. All right. Hold on real quick. Okay. Got it. Some have seen this incident as an early attempt at alien abduction. It is the first published account of explicitly extraterrestrial beings attempting to kidnap humans into their spacecraft. And this is 97?
Something like that.
1896.
It's a big pile of baloney.
Yeah. But I just love how he's like, yeah, they came at me and I fucked them up.
Fucked their world up, man.
I told them,
don't you come back to Earth, you motherfucker.
I told them, don't make me come to Mars, you son of a bitch.
I'll find you and I'll hurt you.
The second wave of airship sightings, mainly in the central and eastern U.S., took place from January 22nd to late May of 1897. One witness from Arkansas, allegedly a former state senator, Harris.
It's pronounced Arkansas.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Arkansas. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. This guy's allegedly a former state senator named Harris.
Okay. Harris.
I don't understand why it says allegedly. Couldn't they identify if there was...
They say he was, but we don't really know.
Like, you wouldn't know if he was a state senator. I mean, right? of all things to be documented. Anyway, so it was supposedly told by an airship pilot during the tensions leading up to the Spanish-American War that the craft was bound for Cuba to use its, quote, Hotchkiss gun to, quote, kill Spaniards, end quote.
Oh, the old Hotchkiss gun. You know what that is, right?
I actually have no idea what that is.
That was like the Hotchkiss gun was like the big fucking like the Gatling guns. That's what the Hotchkiss gun was, if I'm not mistaken. So it was the ones where they like had a dude, they like fed the bullets and there was a dude fucking like cranking away on it.
Like in Young Guns 2 when they brought that shit out to him.
Yeah, I think that's what that is. I'm almost positive.
But my question is, why?
That's exactly what it is.
Why would aliens from Mars that had the technology to get to the United States be using an antiquated gun of that time?
No, they weren't. He said that it was that sighting was supposedly like humans in an airship. Like, I don't know where they would have got the airship from.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
did they have airships back then?
This guy, this alleged senator, again, like, how the fuck, we don't know. Anyway, he said that he was told by an airship.
We're an alleged podcast.
Yes, it is an alleged podcast, and
America's second favorite alleged podcast,
and here for unknowable but potentially nefarious purposes. Yes. So, but he said that he was told by the airship pilot that the craft was bound for Cuba to use its Hotchkiss gun to kill Spaniards.
Right. So apparently, whatever this thing was had a Hotchkiss gun on it.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any damn sense.
But he doesn't say anything about it being like an alien ship. He just says it's some sort of airship. So was it like a fucking weird early fucking Midwest or Old West blimp or some shit? Like, I don't know.
They didn't have blimps back when no, because it was the early 1900s when they first even like the Wright brothers came out with anything, right?
Perhaps it was a Led Zeppelin.
That's not even Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, it is.
That is not Led Zeppelin. It's freaking Heart. That's Barracuda.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it is.
I was doing fucking Led Zeppelin. Come from the land of the ice and snow.
Oh, I was doing Barracuda. My bad. Anyway.
Oh, you're a fucking asshole.
I am. So to one account from Texas, 3 men reported an encounter with an airship with, quote, peculiarly, I hate that word so much, dressed men who asserted that they were descendants of the lost tribes of Israel and had learned English from 1553 North Pole expedition led by Hugh Willoughby. Okay,
first of all, really quickly, when did this happen?
1897.
Okay, so the first successful airship was constructed in 1852.
Holy shit. Okay, so maybe
by Henry Gifford of France.
He said, look at my ship.
He built a 160 kilogram or 350 pounds for you Americans steam engine capable of developing, now get this, hold on to your fucking hats.
Oh boy, I'm ready.
3 horsepower.
Ooh.
Sufficient to turn a large propeller at 110 revolutions per minute. So apparently...
How does that get off the ground?
I mean, if it's light enough and that thing, 110 revolutions a minute is apparently enough to get it up and going, right?
I guess, but the whatever. Okay. All right. Whatever. I'll go with it.
Because basically at that point, they've had hot air balloons for longer than that, right? Those have been around for longer than a blimp. So essentially this dude just fucking made a motor that could like propel a hot air balloon. Like,
okay.
Right? Like he maybe made a bigger hot air balloon to hold the fucking 350 pound motor. And then it was able to go up and essentially just, it was a way to put like,
So there's just a bunch of freaking homemade airships floating around the Old West.
I don't know, but that's what it could be.
That's insane. But in actuality, though, if you think about it, the Old West was kind of like, it wasn't by far as advanced as like New York and Chicago back then. Because, you got to remember, like, electricity and things like that were like, it was big. It was like coming around.
So here you go. This says that it was in 1852. He built the first powered airship, which consisted of a 143-foot-long cigar-shaped gas-filled bag with a propeller powered by a 3-horsepower steam engine.
That was in
1852.
That's a Zeppelin. Yeah, that's a fucking...
It was a Led Zeppelin.
It was a Led Zeppelin. Yeah. It was. Huh.
Actually, Zeppelins weren't around until late 1900, or later in 1900, Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin of Germany invented the first rigid airship.
Oh, he said, look, it's me. I'm going to accidentally kill everybody. Sorry. Too soon? Is that too soon? Sorry. Yeah.
Whoa, bro, check it out. The first rigid airship had a 420-foot metal frame, bro. 420.
Bro, what? So now, moving on here, on February 2nd of 1897, that Omaha Bee reported an airship sighting over Hastings, Nebraska the previous day. Okay. So most of the sightings are up for debate, and many researchers are skeptical, but, who knows what it could have been.
We've just proven it's possible, though.
And when you use the term UFO, it is an unidentified flying object. Doesn't mean it's alien. It's just you don't know what the fuck it is. You know? And if these guys are literally creating these fucking things out of the middle of nowhere, you know what I mean?
Goddamn French are flying all over the place.
Fuck off, Frenchie! You and your hot air fucking balloon.
I heard there's some crowd over there working on a Zeppelin or something too. Called it a rigid airship or some dumb shit.
Did y'all hear that the Frenchies and the Germans are getting together and they're making balloons to come over and just fucking wipe us all out? Did you hear about that? Billy, I think you need to take a nap.
Did you ever think that you would be alive to see Germans and Frenchmen flying around in the skies?
It's real. I seen them. All right, how about a good old-fashioned Wild West serial killer? Oh, shit.
Oh.
Well, we got one of those here on board, and this is the Servant.
It wasn't Chainsaw, by the way.
It was not
Chainsaw.
It was not. He was in a different part of the country at that time.
He was flying around in an airship.
In a fucking Zeppelin. That was his first trucking job was a Zeppelin. Oh shit. Oh man, he's gonna wind up just beating the hell out of both of us. So the Servant Girl Annihilator, the Austin Axe Murderer, or the Midnight Assassin, all the same person.
What a great name though.
The Servant Girl Annihilator.
Annihilator.
Yep. So, pick your favorite one of those and let's just go with it here. All right. So this is an unidentified killer, and you know how we love doing those, that preyed on the city of Austin from 1884 until 1885. Okay. In the first months of 1885, a series of brutal attacks began, targeting female domestic servants. The Annihilator's first canonical victim was Molly Smith, who was killed on the night of December 30th, 1884. Her boyfriend was also left severely injured from the attack. On March 19th of the following year, Sierra Strand and her friend Christine Martinson were attacked by an unidentified individual and severely wounded. On May 6th, Eliza Shelley, a mother of 3 children, was attacked and brutally murdered. Days later, Irene Cross was attacked by a man with a knife, stabbed multiple times, and left to bleed to death. During the next month, Clara Dick was found severely injured. Dude, I knew that was coming. I knew you couldn't hold it. I knew
I'm sorry. I'm
you
such
couldn't
a
hold
child.
it. Yeah, you couldn't hold it. I knew it. This is over 100 years ago. We can kind of, it's fine. It's fine. You can laugh at that. It's fine.
Dude, I don't care who you are. If your last name is Dick, that shit's funny.
But she survived the attack too, so it's
we're good.
Make even more fun. So the Annihilator's next victims were Rebecca Ramey and her daughter Mary. Though Rebecca survived the attack, Mary was killed. In September of 1885, a man attacked Gracie Vance, Orange, Washington. Whoa. That's seriously.
Orange, Washington.
Orange, Washington. It sounds like a really bad cocktail someplace.
Do you think that was somebody who was just too fucking stupid and thought that George Washington's name was Orange Washington?
It was misspelled in the paper somewhere.
I'm going to name my kid after him, Orange Washington.
I really like that name, Orange Washington.
He was a founding father of our country. He fought them crazy British motherfuckers.
Daddy, I don't like my name. Listen, if the first president of this United States can have that name, God damn it, you will too.
Orange Washington crossed the Potomac River.
Did you hear Orange Washington had wooden teeth? I think he chopped down a fucking cherry tree too. Jesus. Oh my God, my head hurts so bad.
It's because you're mixing chocolate syrup and fucking old fashioned.
It was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. My guts are going to hate me later, but whatever. So also...
chocolate syruping out your ass.
Hey, maybe after I'm done with this, I'll make an Orange Washington. Who knows? I might just make one.
That is the name of your new cocktail.
That's an Orange Washington. Absolutely. I love it. See, we are not disparaging this person. We are actually going to create a drink in their honor. Okay.
And we're making fun of the people that named them.
Yes. Yeah, not them. We're making fun of their parents. But also attacked in this were friends Lucinda Body and Patsy Gibson. Lucinda and Patsy survived the attack, but were left severely injured. Unfortunately, Gracie and Orange, they unfortunately passed away. Fuck. I got to move past this real fast. The Annihilator's last known victim, and listen, if you're upset right now because we're laughing about this, this was like fucking 150 years ago. All right.
Holy shit. Dude.
Oh. The Annihilator's last known victims were murdered on the same night. They were identified as Susan Hancock and Eula Phillips. Eula's husband, James Phillips, was also attacked during the assault on his wife, but he managed to survive. The crime scenes were so bloody that the population began to ask themselves if multiple individuals, or maybe even gangs, were responsible for the crimes. So bloody axes and sharp objects were often left behind at the crime scenes, along with bare footprints missing. This is funny because we talked a little bit about this earlier. Bare footprints missing one toe.
You think it'd be pretty easy to find?
That's what I was going to say. Like, how hard is it to find an asshole that's got 9 toes?
A barefoot 9-toed man.
Yeah, like anyone that comes into the lineup, you just go, let me see your feet.
Take your shoes off.
It's you. You did this. What are you talking about? You're the only one that we've arrested the entire time, and you've got 9 toes.
This fucking story is amazing.
So several suspects were arrested, but investigators were not able to connect any of them to the murders. Which
they all had 10 fucking toes or something?
But dude, how crazily intelligent would it be that if you were going to go out and do some dastardly shit like this, and you just tied one of your toes up so it looked like you had 9 toes? You're never going to get caught. You know what I mean? Tie one of your toes up so it looks like you've only got 9 toes.
Oh my God, dude.
This is how you do it, folks. This is why you listen to this show. Okay.
God, we're not, I mean, don't do it, but
I mean, don't go kill anybody. But if you did,
if I would have done
right, exactly.
How I would have done.
Right. OJ probably
tied my toes up.
OJ would have tied his toes up. For sure. So they got some private detectives to try and solve the case.
Damn it, dude.
But then they couldn't identify the killer, okay? The killings suddenly stopped after December of 1885 when additional police officers and more professional investigators were hired to come in on the case. Because Susan and Eula were Caucasian women, because everyone else were not, the city demanded more attention to the case, which is fucking garbage. Yeah. But despite all the efforts, the killer was never caught and the case went unsolved. Pretty wild.
Yeah, I just keep thinking about The Big Lebowski when Walter yells at him. He calls him a dipshit with a 9-toed woman because they cut off his girlfriend cut off her toe.
Listen, Lebowski.
We thought we'd be getting $1 million.
What a great movie.
Fair. Who's the fucking nihilist?
So the Annihilator's victims were primarily young African-American women who worked as domestic servants, a typical job at that time.
AKA slaves?
Well, yes. They were attacked indoors while asleep in their beds, but 5 of them were dragged outside and then killed outdoors. The Annihilator also, unfortunately, raped and mutilated his victims. 3 of them were left mutilated inside, while only 1 victim was actually mutilated outside.
Okay.
Adding to the brutality of the murders, the killer would insert sharp objects into their fucking ears. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. I don't like that. So the Annihilator would also attack anyone present during the murders, including the victim's friends, boyfriends, husbands, and whatever, but apparently sparing children. So,
didn't he kill like 3 kids?
Well, younger people.
Well, I guess they don't say how old the daughters and the wives were. Yeah, I guess that's...
So there were a couple of suspects in this whole thing. There was a guy named Nathan Elgin.
10 toes.
A 19-year-old African-American cook. He worked close to the original crime scenes. He had a club foot with a missing toe.
Oh, shit.
I mean, kind of sounds like you got your fucking guy right there, right?
I would assume. How many other guys did they interview have 9 fucking toes?
I guess we'll talk about it here.
All right.
This guy, old Nathan Elgin here, was shot and killed by police while attempting to assault a girl named Julia with a knife for no apparent reason.
Oh,
That kind of
so it
sounds
sounds like they might have killed their guy.
correct. Then there was a guy named Maurice.
That just Maurice.
Maurice, yes.
Wow.
A cook from Malaysia whose surname is unknown.
What's with the fucking
Worked at
cooks?
the House Hotel. Huh?
What's with all the cooks killing people?
Well, apparently they're pissed off and they have access to knives.
Look, me and you both were cooks, or you are
Correct.
a cook still, and
Yeah, I'm a chef. Thank you.
I get it. I was too. I get it. I get it though. You know, like it makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's surprising that neither one of us have ever killed anybody. I will be.
Have
If you
we
work in this-
not?
Moving on. So this guy worked at the Pearl House Hotel, which was close to the
Okay.
murders. He was a suspect in Eula's murder and left Austin 3 weeks after her death.
Oh,
Sometimes identified with Alaska, a Malay cook named as a suspect in the Ripper's murders, but whose existence is considered unlikely. That's where I knew that name. He's this guy is actually he's one of the people that we talked about for the for Jack the Ripper and the fucking possibility of him being one of the killers
okay.
or the killer.
Yeah, yeah,
Remember Maurice? We talked about this fucking guy that took off on a boat or whatever, and they never heard from him again.
yeah.
Yeah, I made a fucking shirt out of this. We have a shirt in our store for this guy.
Do we?
Yeah, and he's actually, holy shit, he might be the Annihilator. Whoa.
I mean, if you listen to the descriptions of crime scenes and what that dude was fucking doing, I mean, it was definitely less like it seems like it was less like surgical, right? But I mean, it was definitely seems like it was just as bloody and brutal.
Is it possible that this is where he started and then he just started to perpetually?
I don't know.
That's fucking wild. That's wild. So during the attacks, the Servant Girl Annihilator interacted with 2 young boys but did not harm them. The first one was 8-year-old Douglas Brown, and nephew of Irene Cross, who declared that a, quote, big chunky Negro man, barefooted and with his pants rolled up,
Oh my god, dude.
end quote, making sure I say that,
Oh,
had covered him with a blanket and told him to be quiet. He had no recollection of the murder, and it's speculated that the killer sedated him with chloroform stolen from a dentist's home. The other child was Eula and James Phillips' 2-year-old son, Thomas Phillips, who was sleeping with his parents and was given an apple by the fucking killer.
wow. What a dick.
What?
Yeah.
That is insane. Dude, could you imagine if the person, because I know everyone tried to say there was a connection between H.H. Holmes and Jack the Ripper,
Yeah.
which they've debunked and said that there's no fucking way that's even possible. But could you imagine if this dude who was like literally, a cook that was on ships and stuff and would go to port and just murder a bunch of people?
You sound like the Swedish chef for a second there. Port to port.
So I mean, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
That is wild.
You never know, man.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
they
So
had-
going on now
like
here.
they had fucking forensics and shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's
All they
Well,
had was a chunky Negro man with one toe. Or
And his
one
pants
toe
rolled
missing and his pants rolled
Yeah.
up.
yikes. So then there's the
I didn't
crater.
say it, they said it.
Quote, end quote. Remember that. Yes,
Yes,
that's
quote.
how we were saying those things.
Yeah.
So in 1853, a pair of brothers named James and Henry Wilson were part of a prospecting group in the gold rush town of Jacksonville, Oregon. One of the prospectors was killed by Native Americans during a raid, forcing the brothers to move camp.
You know what?
Right.
Good. Fuck them.
They trudged high into the mountains outside Jacksonville, looking for a place to settle.
That sounds.
After a few weeks,
That's a weird statement. High in the mountains of Jacksonville, because you think about Florida, right?
yeah, well, this is Oregon, Jacksonville, Oregon.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't know there was a Jacksonville, Oregon, and then like hearing that statement, like high in the mountains of Jacksonville, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that's a hill. That's not a mountain in Jacksonville, Florida. So after a few weeks, they came to a valley surrounded by steep, high cliffs. They built a cabin and dug in for the long haul. Soon, the Wilson boys discovered gold nuggets in a tiny creek bed. Sorry, I don't know why I do that every time. They thought they hit it big with the find, but were still worried about Indian raiders. So as they came upon even more gold, they started hoarding it in the makeshift cabin. They dug a deep hole inside the floor and lined it with rocks, stashed all of their gold, and reburied their loot. By then, it was time to return to civilization and let other people know what the fuck they found. There was just one problem. The Native Americans were still looking to remove the brothers from their land and pretty much forcibly here and take them out. Henry was killed before James and, they could get back down the mountain. James managed to escape and eventually made his way into California. However, he was sick as shit by this point. He told his cousin Ted Harper about the hidden gold on his deathbed. The area near Jacksonville was still full of hostile tribes, so Harper chose to basically just wait it out. He knew if he waited long enough, he could go up safely and track down all the gold, that they have stored up there.
The government was going to kill all the Indians.
Just give it a few. 15 years later, Harper did just that. He brought along a friend named Sam Simpson, and the pair found the cabin.
Simpson.
Simpson, where's me gold?
I stick by my story. There's gold in the cabin.
If I wasn't a prospector, then why would I wear this hat?
See the light on the front?
Oh, shit. So they found the cabin exactly where his cousin James told him it would be.
Oh, okay.
Inside the cabin, which a local tribe had actually burned pretty much to the ground.
Yeah, makes sense.
They came across Henry. Remember, Henry died. His remains. But tragedy struck once more before they could dig for the gold. Harper slipped while holding his gun and accidentally fucking shot himself.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm sure that's what happened.
Yeah, he died pretty much instantly.
I'm sure the other guy didn't shoot him because he wanted all the gold for himself or anything.
Exactly. Yeah, it seems logical, right? Because, Simpson here is left alone in the wilderness. Simpson was so distraught that he could not dig and decided just to fucking leave.
Whatever.
Yeah, but he left it. He was like, fuck this, I'm leaving. He was so upset about his buddy dying.
There was probably nothing there. He got fucking pissed off and shot this guy because he brought him all the way out there. And he was worried about getting killed by Indians and he was all shitty. So he was like, you know what? Fuck you. Shot him in the face and then left. And then he was like, I don't know what happened. He tripped and fell and shot himself.
Damn. You got dark real quick on that one.
I'm just saying, dude. I'm
you
just
okay?
saying, bro. Oh, I'm fantastic.
Okay.
I'm great. I'm just telling it. Hey, man, I'm just telling it like it is, bro.
All right.
Simpson.
Simpson. He lied to me, didn't like me out. So a few months after Harper and in Simpson's, horrible trip here, another group of men tried to find this hidden, stockpile of gold. They couldn't relocate the cabin during their journey into the wilderness, but they did find something else. Crater Lake. The deepest lake in America had been entirely unknown to settlers until that unexpected discovery. It's one of Oregon's most unique and beautiful tourist destinations today, and it was found because basically a bunch of dudes hit a bunch of gold and people were trying to find it, and they found this amazing lake down there. That's a pretty cool fucking story.
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty awesome.
That's like what we were talking about the last time, like the discoveries and shit. Like Crater Lake, this giant, deep-ass lake. Like, and it was just, for all intents and purposes, like recently discovered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how did it go?
Yeah, all these
It's crazy.
So now there's the Lost Cement Mine.
Okay.
Though accounts disagree about how exactly the Lost Cement Mine was discovered, there's one point of agreement between all of these stories. The site was loaded with gold. Oh, yeah, boy.
There's gold in them thar hills.
So one account of the mine written in 1879 says two men discovered headed to California in 1857. They broke away from their caravan, sat by a stream to rest, take a good little siesta, and they saw a shit ton of gold. One of the men, the other couldn't believe it was gold here, took about 5 kilograms, that's 10 pounds of gold with him. That's crazy. That's a fuck ton of gold.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Were you waving your kid out of the room?
Wife and kid, yes.
Okay.
She was laughing at me because I'm in my underpants.
That is staying in this episode, by the way.
And I have like socks pulled up to like my knees right now too.
That is staying in here. I want everyone to hear what is happening right now.
Literally, my whole family's standing at the door laughing at me right now.
God, I love it. I'm keeping that in here for sure. So anyway, back to this. So he took 10 pounds of gold with him. And by the time he reached California, he was incredibly sick. He got super sick. He used the gold and a map to pay for his treatment. Okay, which that sounds smart. You have gold.
Yeah.
So Mark Twain, you guys know the infamous Mark Twain. Samuel Clemens, I believe, is his other name that he uses.
Correct.
Yes.
That's his real name, I believe, isn't it? Mark Twain was his pen name?
Pseudonym? Pen name? Yeah, I think so. So according to his story, the finders were three brothers from Germany. The Germans found the gold.
Dude, you know what they did? They flew around the fucking country on their goddamn Zeppelin looking for gold, dude.
Looking for gold. That makes sense.
That's how that looks like a good place for gold. Let's set her down there.
That's how they funded the wars. They came up later. Yeah. Sorry, no.
Just so you know, 10 pounds of gold right now would be worth 10 pounds Troy of gold would be worth about $234,000.
That's it?
For today, yeah. I feel like it was more than that.
That's crazy.
I feel like it'd be more than that. Well,
yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Well, gold's heavy, though. Gold is extremely dense.
Yeah, and I mean, gold is...
A pound of gold in your hand is probably not even a brick. Like a brick of gold probably weighs freaking, 5-10 pounds by itself?
Yeah, and I guess if you think about it, because, I mean, was there 16 ounces to a pound? And you're it's about, $12 to $1,400 for an ounce? Or something like that. So that'd be no, that doesn't make sense then. It should be way more than that, shouldn't it?
It sounds like it. I'm not 100% positive. So a brick of gold, like the bricks you see in Fort Knox and stuff, those weigh 27.4 pounds a piece.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, it's extremely dense and extremely heavy. That's why when you watch movies and stuff and you see them struggling to lift that one bar of gold, it's because it's heavy as shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I take that back. 1 pound of gold is worth between... Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense then. This says 1 pound of gold is worth between $24,000 and $29,000.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, that would be... Yeah, so between $240,000 and $290,000.
Okay, well, I mean, still a good amount of money. I wouldn't be mad at that if I had it. So, according to his story, he says that these guys came from Germany and who were hiding in the mountains to escape an attack on their caravan when they found the gold. Either way, countless prospectors, went to the area looking for the mines. While the lost cement mines have indeed taken on some legendary status here, there are records of Dr. Randall, a guy named Dr. Randall, finding red rock rich in gold in the area. In 1869, two men arrived in Stockton, California. They replenished their supplies, then headed out again. Between 1869 and 1877, and it was a long time, they returned with a sizable amount of gold each year. It wasn't until the fall of 1877 that one of them told an incredible story to a priest before he passed away. He said he and his buddy that was helping him out here had been mining up in Mammoth Peak, then known as the Pumice Mountain. I don't know why it's named that. They had found the legendary gold and mined it somewhere in the neighborhood of $400,000 worth over the years. That's $400,000 in 1869 to 1877 money.
1869. I'll find out. Don't worry.
I'm just gonna say, woo!
How much?
That's
$400,000.
$400,000. I don't even know if we can even go back that far to even see what that's worth.
$400,000 in when? 70? We'll call it.
We'll say, yeah, that's fine.
We'll call it 1870. Let's see. $400,000. You can keep talking.
I'm anticipating here.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say it's probably about, I don't know, 3 million.
You are way off.
Really?
$9,417,312.98. So those motherfuckers had the equivalent of $9 million in 1870.
Yeah.
That's like fucking railroad money. That's like JP Morgan Chase money back then, dude.
That is buy your own fucking country money at that time.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
That's nuts.
God. Fund a war money. So he didn't say anything else about it aside from the fact that they had shored up their spot and hidden it from other prospectors. Okay, before he died. It might seem like the stuff of fairy tales today. Still, Bodie, California, one of the areas explored in the hopes of finding the lost cement mines, was the site of the discovery of gold deposits totaling more than 60,000 pounds of gold.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and you said a pound is worth between
$24,000 to $29,000. Yeah.
That is a shit ton of money. Good God. All right, so now we've got some little shorter ones here. You know how we do this.
The old quick hitters. We're bringing them back, baby.
The quick hitters, that's right. So where is Cochise?
I don't know. Where is he?
Yeah. Well, Cochise was chief of the Chokanan band of Chiricahua Apache. Boy,
Of course, yeah.
I'll just an iconic leader in the Apache Wars, which took place roughly between 1849 and 1886. Cochise has many famous stories. As to how his story ends, however, there remains a lot of mystery. No one knows where he's fucking buried.
Oh.
It is known that Cochise died of natural causes in 1874 and that he's buried somewhere in Arizona's Dragoon Mountains.
Okay.
His people knew the exact location, as did his wife or his friend and peace broker Tom Jeffords, but no one was telling anybody.
You know what that sounds like to me? It kind of reminds you of like Genghis Khan. It's the same thing. Like nobody knows where he's actually buried.
Well, because anyone who knew probably kept it a secret, and they're all fucking dead now.
Right.
You know? Yeah, there is literally no one alive today that knows where Cochise, this chief, was actually buried.
It's true. It is true.
That's
yeah.
Then there's John Baptiste, and we mentioned him earlier. There's something truly reprehensible about robbing the dead, and you got to hide him pretty well if John Baptiste is had anything to do with it. Baptiste was a gravedigger who moonlighted as a grave robber until he was caught. He was exiled to a small island in Utah's Great Salt Lake and left there to rot. 3 weeks later, officials came to check on him, but Baptiste was gone. He gone. Parts of a small shack were torn down, presumably to build a makeshift raft, while a cow was also found skinned, again, presumably to make leather.
Oh.
Jean-Baptiste was never found. Not even the skeletal remains found near the island could be linked to this criminal, because these remains had a ball and chain attached to the leg, and Baptiste didn't while he was there.
Wow.
That's crazy.
All right.
I wonder if he actually got away, like escaped out of there. That's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Then there's Butch Cassidy. We all know the story of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It was a movie from 1969 where the infamous outlaws go out in a hail of bullets against the Bolivian army. But did Butch Cassidy actually make it out alive? Well, a lot of people later quoted on their reported run-ins with Cassidy years after his reported death, with one report claiming that Butch had reconstructive surgery performed in Paris. Others say that Cassidy returned to see his family in Utah, while others still counter this by saying no one ever saw him arrive back home. Even DNA evidence acquired from a reported burial site under an area known as Tom's Cabin didn't prove enough to confirm that it was indeed Butch Cassidy.
Huh.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, that's nuts.
You guys know old Billy the Kid. We talked about him in the last episode. We all know who Billy the Kid is. You know, gunslinger, train robber, badass. So did Sheriff Pat Garrett actually kill Billy the Kid? And if you've watched Young Guns 2, I believe it was Young Guns 2,
yes,
right?
Yes, it was Young
Guns 2. At the very end where he's like the old guy and he's like, meh.
Yep.
Some say that Garrett actually helped Billy the Kid, a.k.a. Mr. William H. Bonney, actually helped him escape. And now this goes against the coroner's jury reports that the body they examined was indeed William H. Bonney. But, you know, it makes sense that with Billy's legend being, you know, what it is here. And it is a legend. Specifically, a man named Brushy Bill Roberts came forward in 1948 seeking a pardon for Billy the Kid's crimes. There was also the family of John Miller, who went so far as to have DNA examined in an inconclusive attempt to link Miller to McCarty.
Inconclusive, but not wrong.
Not definitive, right? So if Billy the Kid did make it out alive, he was pretty good at keeping it a secret. So I could only hope that he did, dude. That'd be amazing. What an amazing story.
I hope the Brushy Bill, I hope that was him, just because I like his name.
Brushy Bill. Hey, kids. You know who I am? I used to be Billy the Kid.
Could you imagine if like that dude was like your grandpa? He was like, no, but like for real, like you could be like, dude, I think my grandpa was fucking Billy the Kid, man.
Why would he be fucking Billy the Kid, though?
I mean, wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Then there are the Hell Dogs of Nevada.
Oh, Hell Dogs.
The El Dorado Canyon had a vibrant history during the days of the American West. In the 19th century, there were tales of miners who had lost their lives in addition to spirits of Native Americans who previously lived in the area. But one of the spookiest stories is about the spirits of the Hell Dogs, still residing in the Nevada Canyon. Back in the days of shootouts and gold mining, prospectors were known to have their canine companions guard their personal belongings while working. These dogs became vicious in order to scare off potential thieves. Unfortunately, many were left in the area or shot after the gold ran out. That's fucked up.
That's shitty,
Now
dude.
visitors have claimed to see dog apparitions roaming around and have heard their vicious growls protecting their land. That's not scary at all.
Nah,
That's
it's good.
oh boy.
Good stuff.
Then there is, and lastly here, the Ship of Death in Wyoming,
Okay.
which doesn't really seem like the spot you would have a ship of death, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Along the Platte River in Wyoming, people have been seeing what is known as the Death Ship since the 1800s. According to stories, the ship is covered in heavy fog, and the skeletal crew members stand around a corpse lying on the deck. Jesus Christ, this is scary as shit. When they pull back the canvas covering the corpse, it is believed that the witness will see the face of someone they know,
Oh boy.
foreshadowing their imminent
Oh
death.
shit, dude. Man, he was like you get a phone call. It's just like, hey man, I just thought I should let you know. I was out last night and I saw the ship of death. Oh yeah, really? That's cool. Yeah, well, you gonna die. I saw your face on the corpse that the skeletons were dancing around, and you're gonna die.
Dude, what the fuck? Like, that's terrifying. That's 100% terrifying. Ugh.
I'm just thinking about getting that phone call. That's funny as shit.
Yeah, so according to all eyewitness accounts, the person they saw on the deck died the same day they saw the ship floating
Jesus.
in the plant.
Man, they didn't even
Yikes.
have a chance.
Yep. Well, there you go, folks. Some of the crazy mysteries and weirdness of the Old West.
So
Thanks to go ahead.
I was gonna say, after you're done there, if you want, it's not horror movies, but I do have a top 10 movie list if you want to do it of the best westerns of all time.
That's funny. I have the exact same one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
where did you get it from?
I actually got it from vulture.com.
Oh, that's a different list than I have. I wonder how they'll compare.
Oh, well, let's go through and we'll find out.
All right, well,
We'll do like the top 10.
finish what you were
Yeah.
saying. Finish what you were saying.
Well, we wanted to give some kudos and some appreciation to some websites for the information on this episode, these two episodes.
Yeah.
Listverse, Watch Mojo, Cowboys and Indians Magazine, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Grunge.com, Mental Flare, Wide Open Country, and Stars Insider.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Stars. I'm inside her. I gotta go to bed. So of course we have to remember to write down a few more, or we forgot to.
Yeah,
write
there
down.
was a couple more that I didn't get down,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know, be always as always too, man. Go check out some of these websites that we're telling you. They're really fucking cool, man. They're really good resources. That Cowboys and Indians one is actually a really fucking cool website. It's like these episodes take me way longer than they should because like I'll be doing something, I'll be like, oh, this is cool, and then like 2 hours later, I'm like, oh fuck, I've been looking at this website for 2 hours finding random shit. So
But it's cool that you can actually jump down those wormholes
Yeah,
or
yeah.
rabbit holes, not wormholes, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. So again, thank you to those. And now I guess what we're going to do? We're going to do
dueling top 10. We're gonna have a duel.
dueling
An old
Top
West duel
10
top 10 list.
greatest Western movies coming up right here.
Oh yes.
And now, boys and girls, it's your favorite part of the show, the movie review. Which top 10 movies will make the cut today?
All right, we're going to start off at number 10 here, okay?
Yeah.
So my
What is your number 10?
number 10 is from 2010 and it's called
Oh.
Meek's Cutoff.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of that. Kelly Reichard's radically unromantic tale of survival on the Oregon Trail sweats the details, focusing on the arduous day-to-day routines involved in moving across the Oregon high desert in search of a better life. Never heard of that one. What is your number 10?
My number 10 is from 1992, and it's one of my favorite Western movies. Actually, is Unforgiven.
Clint Eastwood, baby.
Surprised it's not higher on the list, but When Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven was released in 1992, the Western genre was seen as dead for the most part. However, this dark and complex tale subverted many of the Western genre's tropes to tell a powerful story. The movie was a huge success and hailed for its more critical portrayal of the West's supposed heroes.
Well, it was written and directed by him, right?
Yeah. It says, with Eastwood's protagonist Money having committed countless murders of men, women, and children before the events of the movie. Unforgiven's greatest strengths lie in its lack of Hollywood gloss, making its story feel somehow bleaker yet more human, even when compared to some of the best Westerns ever made.
Ooh, it's a great movie. I do love that movie a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so your 10's better than my 10. All right.
Well, we don't know. We've never seen your 10.
Well, objectively. Well,
okay.
Well, yeah, whatever. Yeah, because we've seen it. My number 9 is from 1953. It is The Naked Spur.
Okay.
In Anthony Mann's The Naked Spur, Ralph Meeker plays a character dishonorably discharged from the cavalry on the grounds of being morally unstable. Meeker plays one of several characters drawn into bounty hunter Howard Kemp's attempt to collect an enormous bounty on Ben Vandergroat, a murderer and rapist wanted for killing a marshal.
Oh.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one either.
Me either.
And your number 9 is?
From 1965, it's For a Few Dollars More.
Great movie.
For a Few Dollars More serves as the middle chapter of the Fantastic Man with No Name trilogy, with Clint Eastwood and Sergio Leone teaming up to deliver another all-time classic. After Eastwood's Manco and Lee Van Cleef's Colonel Douglas, Mortimer, set their sights on the same bounty, the two men joined forces to take down the vicious outlaw, El Indio. Like many classic movies, For a Few Dollars More wasn't particularly well received upon its release, but has since been highly ranked among the best Westerns ever made, with Leone's stylish direction setting the movie apart from others of its ilk.
It's a great movie. Also a great movie. Yeah. And wasn't Mortimer one of the brothers in Trading Places?
Yes, that was one of the names, yeah.
What was the other guy's name?
I don't remember.
Because I know Lewis was Dan Aykroyd. What was his name? Not Jesse. What was Eddie Murphy's name in that?
Oh, Eddie Murphy was Billy Ray Valentine.
Billy Ray Valentine, yes. So it was Mortimer. Yeah, I can't remember.
Mortimer and Randolph.
Randolph Duke. Yes, the Duke brothers.
Yes.
All right, moving on. My number 8 is from 1959. Great movie, Rio Bravo.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, Howard Hawks worked in virtually every imaginable film genre, but in each, he tended to favor stories about camaraderie between disparate groups of people united for a common cause. In Rio Bravo, he found a story he liked so much that he more or less remade it 2 more times, in El Dorado and Rio Lobo, both of which also starred John Wayne, and both scripted like Rio Bravo by Leigh Brackett. It's a great movie. It's seriously.
Yeah.
John Wayne plays the wonderfully named Sheriff John T. Chance, whose defense of his drunken friend Dude, who's Dean Martin, which is amazing, pits him against his some less than law-abiding ranchers. Great movie. Rio Bravo is awesome.
My number 8 is from 1968, Once Upon a Time in the West.
Ooh.
As overused as the term has become, there's no other word to accurately describe Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West than epic. Boasting an ensemble cast featuring the likes of Charles Bronson and an against-type Henry Fonda, the movie spins a sprawling revisionist yarn about violence in the Old West. A firm favorite among many of the greatest contemporary filmmakers, including Tarantino and Martin Scorsese, Once Upon a Time in the West, initially lukewarm reviews, eventually gave way to widespread acclaim, with the movie now being regarded as one of the best ever made.
So Sergio Leone was like basically the king of spaghetti westerns.
Oh yeah, they were all filmed like in Italy and shit.
Yeah,
too.
like it was. They call them spaghetti westerns because they were Italian. They were filmed in Italy, but they were westerns, and they all had their own this like unique style about them. If you go watch what is it, like A Few Dollars More?
Yeah,
and like all those movies, they're so good. God, I love them so much. All right, so my number 7 is The Wild Bunch from 1969.
Oh. Okay. You realize we haven't had one same movie yet?
Not yet. Yeah.
Like there's been no movies that have crossed the list yet.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what your number 1 is, to be honest.
I'm looking forward to yours too, buddy.
So the Wild Bunch released the same year as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, a far more genial, if no less doom-laced story of outlaws facing the end of the road as the Old West era draws to a close. Sam Peckinpah's landmark Western attracted controversy for its graphic violence, some of it depicted in agonizing detail through slow motion. Jesus.
Nice.
Was he making audiences consider the ugliness of taking life, making bloodshed look disturbingly beautiful? Could he be doing both at once? Ugly, brutal, but not without its dark allure. This was the vision of the West that Peckinpah had been building toward since Ride the High Country. Here he populates the film with a band of outlaws led by William Holden and Ernest Borgnine, charming enough to make it easy. Yeah, dude. Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah.
Charming enough to make it easy to forget, at least for long stretches, how they make their living and why they've come into such dire straits as they try to make one last score before calling it a day.
All right.
Wild Bunch is tough, dude. I got to go back and watch that. I don't know if I remember seeing that.
I remember watching it, but like hearing you like recall it, I'm like, dude, maybe I don't remember it as well as I thought I did.
Yeah.
Like,
I might have to go back and watch that.
yeah.
All right. You're number 7.
My number 7 from 2012.
Ooh, hold on. 2012 Western. Let me think. Is this the Tomahawk?
Nope.
Oh shit. Okay, what is it?
It is Django Unchained.
Ah, okay. That's good. That's good.
It says, it may come as a shock to see a film as recent as 2012's Django Unchained be called one of the best Westerns ever made. However, no other movie has shown a brighter light on the revisionist Western genre in the 21st century than Django Unchained. Managing to tell a harrowing story about slavery and vengeance while somehow filling it with humor, heart, and blood-soaked action, Quentin Tarantino keeps a lot of plates spinning with Django Unchained without dropping a single one. The result is a movie that's satisfying on almost every conceivable level, with its dialogue, characters, and nail-biting tension culminating in one of the most thrilling shootouts ever. Boom.
It's an amazing movie. Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So I got my number 6 here. Is from 1948. It's Red River.
Red River.
Red River. Like Rio Bravo, Red River is a film only Howard Hawks could have pulled off. Set largely during a large, troubled cattle drive from Texas to Abilene. The film stars John Wayne as Thomas Dunson, a cattle rancher with a tragic past who grows increasingly stern and unforgiving as the drive progresses. As he threatens to turn into an Old West, as he threatens to turn into an Old West Ahab. I don't know what that means. His adopted son, Matt, grows increasingly concerned and more resistant to his authority until the confrontation becomes inevitable and a tragedy, the likely outcome. This is written really weird. Ultimately, however, Hawks has other plans, and it's Red River's humanity in addition to its sweeping action that makes it extraordinary. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that one. 1948, dude. Jesus.
I'm not familiar with that one at all.
All right. Your number 6.
My number 6 from 1960, The Magnificent Seven.
Great movie.
The highly influential Japanese filmmaker Akira Kurosawa was inspired by John Ford's foundational Western films when he made the 1954 classic Seven Samurai, which is a fucking amazing movie.
Yeah.
Director John Sturgis continued the prevalent cultural exchange of the time by looking to Seven Samurai to produce one of the best Westerns ever made. 1960's The Magnificent Seven. In this movie, Charles Bronson, Steve McQueen, and James Coburn lead 7 I know it's great, isn't it? Lead 7 mismatched but determined gunslingers in the defense of a small Mexican village being targeted by outlaws. The Magnificent Seven was remade in 2016, but even with several Hollywood A-listers among the cast, the modern version could scarcely match this timeless classic.
I was going to say they just remade that because it's Chris Pratt was in the remake.
Yes.
And like it was okay, but it wasn't like the original.
Movies like that, you can't capture that. Like,
it was just gritty and just that was so good. Number 5 on my list here, I have McCabe and Mrs. Miller from 1971. I've never heard of this.
Got so many like
obscure,
all like very obscure. Yeah.
Many of Robert Altman's films, particularly in his first run of success in the early 70s, find him putting his own spin of famous genres, be it the detective film or the war movie. With Mr. McCabe and Mrs. Miller, Altman turned his attention to the Western and made one like no other before. a wistful, funny, heartbreaking film about one's doomed pursuit of happiness in the remote Washington town of Presbyterian Church. Okay, that's the name of the town? Whatever.
All right.
Warren Beatty plays McCabe, a drifter and fast talker who falls in love with Miss Miller, Julie Christie. No idea who that is. A madam who offers to improve business at his low-rent brothel.
Oh, all right.
Robert Altman. No shit.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that movie. Sorry.
Warren Beatty's in it too?
Yeah, Warren Beatty.
All right.
All right, number 5.
My number 5 is another newer movie. It's actually a remake. It is 2010 True Grit. The remake.
The remake, not the original.
Nope, it's the remake.
Okay.
It says, which I don't know if you've seen this one. It's really good. It's fucking Jeff Bridges, so I mean, there
Of
you go.
course. Oh, I think I have seen this.
Yeah. It says director Henry Director Henry Hathaway.
Yep.
Anyways, director Henry Hathaway's True Grit from 1969 allowed John Wayne to reinvent his image as a Western star, and it resulted in one of the best Westerns ever made.
This is with
However-
the kid, right?
What?
Wasn't there a kid involved in this one? In True Grit? Keep reading.
Yeah, I can't remember, honestly. However, the 2010 reboot starring Jeff Bridges as the curmudgeonly Cogburn takes this story to a whole new level. Arguably more authentic to the Charles Potus novel of the same name, on which the 1959 movie was based, the 2010 remake captures the tale's darkly comedic sensibilities and eccentric version of the Wild Wild West. To be fair, Joel and Ethan Coen's neo-noir comical style is objectively a much better fit for the inherent weirdness of the novel compared to Hathaway's conventional directing.
Yeah, it was good. It was good for sure. I think it has something to do with like a kid where he's protecting some kid or some kid is going with him on a trip where he has to take the kid somewhere. I'm not 100% positive.
It's been, I saw the new one, but it's been a few years. Like I saw it like right when it first came out, and I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't really remember, man.
So number 4 on my list, we're going way back to 1939 and Stagecoach.
Oh.
Yeah. Is there such a thing as a perfect movie? If not, Stagecoach comes pretty close. John Ford's film made a star of John Wayne as the Ringo Kid. Ringo Kid! A fugitive from the law who's called upon to protect a stagecoach traveling through dangerous territory. That it contains
went on to be in the Beatles.
That it contains nothing less than a cross-section of Old West humanity, from an alcoholic doctor to pregnant army wife to a prostitute and so on, suggests that Ford has ambitions beyond merely staging an exciting story. Stagecoach works first as just that, but it brilliantly weaves its characters' personal journeys into the action as the journey becomes ever more perilous.
All right.
1939. All right. What do you got? Number 4.
Number 4, I'm in 1966.
Ooh.
Which I'm also surprised this one wasn't higher on the list, even though it is number 4. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Great movie.
The go-to answer for most longtime genre enthusiasts when asked which are the best Westerns ever made, Sergio Leone, again, his 1968 classic, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. As the grand finale of the Man with No Name trilogy, every single aspect of the movie, from its memorable Ennio Morricone score, which was the yeah.
Ching, ching, ching.
To its perfectly stylized direction, has become iconic, following the exploits of Eastwood's Blondie as he competes with the nefarious Angel Eyes and the foolish Tuco for the stash of Confederate gold. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, striking visuals, beautiful score, and relentless tension helped launch the movie into pop culture legend.
I might sit down and have a marathon of all those movies, dude. I might.
Yeah.
I'm feeling
good,
like I want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Number 3 for my list here, it's our first crossover. It's Once Upon a Time in the West.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, and we just talked about it, and Moody explained what that one was, so I won't bore you guys with what that is, because obviously you just heard what that was. So yeah, number 3 on mine is Once Upon a Time in the West. Number 3 on your list.
Mine is also my first crossover with you, is the one you just said, which was Stagecoach.
Ah, wow, okay. Well, that's crazy.
That's number 3 on my list.
Okay. Number 2 on my list, Second crossover, it's 1992's The Unforgiven.
Okay, that's high on that list.
Yeah, it's great. It's such a good movie. That's why it should. When you said it was so low in yours, I was like, really?
Yeah, I felt like it would have been a little bit higher than that too.
All right, so what's yours?
My number 2 is a new is a different one. It's not a crossover.
Okay.
Is from 2015.
Oh.
It is the second installment by Tarantino.
Oh, this is The Hateful Eight.
The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
It's inspired by the darkest elements of the best westerns ever made on both film and television. The Hateful Eight may be the greatest modern effort to tell an original story that fully banks on the genre's most crucial conventions. There's a stagecoach stop, a lawman taking an outlaw to justice, a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and most importantly, 8 individuals who all fall into the classic mysterious stranger Western archetype. In line with this ambitious vision, director Quentin Tarantino and cinematographer Robert Richardson resurrected widescreen lenses from the 70s to achieve the stunning shots. The legendary Ennio Morricone also won his first and only Oscar for Best Original Score for the movie.
Holy shit.
I didn't know that at all.
Wow, he actually got him to score that movie?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
What?
That's fucking amazing, dude.
That is awesome. Dude, I had no idea. That is crazy. That movie's so good, by the way. If you guys have not seen,
fantastic.
It is fantastic. All right, so now we're up to our number ones.
I wonder if it's going to be the same.
I don't think it's going to, because mine is fucking weird.
What's the year? What year is it from?
1956.
Mine too.
Shut up.
It's probably the same movie.
Is yours The Searchers?
It is.
What?
Yep.
So John Wayne and John Ford made great movies together and apart after The Searchers, but that doesn't make it any less of a culmination. Both had worked in and thought about the Western for years by that time they shot the haunting film. John Wayne plays Ethan Edwards, a man driven by a hate that's inflamed when Comanches murder Ethan's brother and other members of his family before kidnapping his 2 nieces. Ethan and his companions soon find one, Lucy, dead. The other, Debbie, Natalie Wood, holy shit. Which, by the way, Natalie Wood is going to have her own fucking episode because she died very mysteriously. And we are going to...
She's on the list for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. And let's see, they can't find... The other, Debbie, they can't find at all, leading Ethan to scour the West for her as he becomes increasingly twisted by his rage. That's crazy that we both got the same damn movie.
Mine says, I'll just run through real quick. It says, blah, 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 blah. For starters, it is a nearly perfect epic Western that sees both director John Ford and John Wayne at their respective creative peaks. While previous movies like Stagecoach and The Oxbow Incident laid the foundation for revisionist Westerns, The Searchers elevated the subgenre by introducing an anti-hero with more than an undercurrent of racism. Based on a real story, the plot never shies away from the ugly truths about the frontier, all while deftly balancing violence, drama, and comedy. The rawness of the underlying social commentary only adds to the increasingly tense atmosphere of The Searchers.
That's crazy. Yeah. Okay, so I have to watch that. We have to watch that.
I've looked at other lists, and this is on that movie is on a lot of like best like older movies, Western, but like whatever. And I've never seen it, but I've seen it on a lot of these lists, and it's one of those that like I feel like I need to go watch it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to watch that one. So there's your list, and that is the episode for this week. Make sure to stop over to our official website, the Midnight Train Podcast at .com. Sorry, at our website you can buy some super sweet merchandise.
Super sweet.
Where you can find all kinds of cool shirts to represent and be cooler than anyone else that you possibly know.
Absolutely true.
Unless they have the merch. And then, like the hat that I'm wearing right now. That's right. This is in there.
Good.
Love this hat.
I found my Don't Be a DeSalvo shirt the other day. It was
so get over there, get some stuff. And if you like what you heard from us, consider being a show producer by heading to themidnighttrainpodcast.com and clicking on the Patreon button, or go to patreon.com/the Midnight Train Podcast. For as little as $5 a month, you can get all kinds of custom shirts, custom posters, stickers. I mean, all the bonus episodes you can ask for. And there are more and more coming, by the way. So listen, if you want to support the show and you want to get these bonuses and you want to be cooler than everybody else, sign up to become a first class passenger. It's that easy. It's that
Yeah.
simple. It's that
Absolutely.
simple. Right.
It's
All right.
super simple.
Don't forget to follow us on all the socials like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. Get over there and review us there and on Apple
And
Podcasts.
while you're over on Spotify,
Hey, what can you
reviewing
do
our
over
show,
there?
You could check out my band's new single.
Yeah, and what's the band?
The band is called Forward to Contact.
And the name of the song?
It is called. Oh, God damn it. Why do I keep fucking.
So much pressure.
Every time you ask me, like, it just shits out of my head and I can't. And I don't know why.
Just look up
I
the
have
band.
No
You'll
fucking
find
idea
it.
why, dude.
You'll find it.
There's like a mental block every time you ask me what it's called. I'm
Your
just like,
bandmates
"Man,
right now are going, you son of a bitch.
I know, right? They're like, this guy doesn't even want to be in the band anymore.
You can also find the Generation AFK podcast over there at Spotify, which is new. And there are 4 episodes right now that you can binge listen to. And once a week, they will be out. And you can also go over to our YouTube channel where you can see my monstrosity of game playing, as well as, subscribe over there and, see the stupidity unfold as we do it. So Generation AFK. So there you go. Right?
Yes.
Are you still trying to think of the name of the song?
No, I gave up.
Okay.
I was listening to you talk about your other podcast.
Also,
I really I don't understand why that happens. Every time you fucking ask me, I'm just like, oh yeah, it's okay. I don't.
Well, listen.
It is like, it's baffling to me. I don't get it. I don't understand what's happening.
I think
sorry.
you're old.
My sincere that's true. And I smoke a lot of weed.
You do
so
smoke a
that's
lot of
probably
weed.
part of
Yeah,
it.
that is very true. It's legal here now, folks, so we can say
I
what
don't
we
really
want.
smoke it anymore. I'm more of a edibles guy now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you like, gummies?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
the most part.
Yeah, good for
Yeah.
you. Good
Although
for
I
you.
did I told you I had some Canadian shit for a while.
Yeah, you said that like tweaked you pretty hard, huh?
That shit was fucking. Woo.
So listen, we can't thank you all enough for all the love and support we constantly receive from you guys. You have no idea how awesome you are to us, and we cannot even remotely come close to telling you how much we appreciate it. You guys do definitely keep the train on the tracks. So thank you so much for that. And a very special, I'm going to turn it down because it's loud. A very special thank you to our fearless executive producer, first class passengers. To Cassandra Fuentes, Jacob Peters, Stoner Babe 69, Tim Karras, Zoe Miller, Tracy Valancourt, Edgar Rodriguez, Jenny Wynn, Riley with no last name, Chris Connors, Amanda C., Micah Purdue, Dale Wells, George DeJesus, Megan McTerry, Amanda Dens, Chris Lucas, Joseph Aramo, Nathan Diekman, Caitlin McKinney, Maggie Brothers, Rick Resler, Miles Campbell, Brian Gunzelman, Pumpkin Escobar, Mac Doherty, Janet Sherrill, damn it, Chad Flint, Chris McLeod, Justin Kowalczyk, Christina Skelton from the Sisters Skelton.
Oh shit! I just remembered it. It's Give It a Rest.
That's the name of the song. Give it a rest. There you go.
Sorry. I just figured I'd say it before I forgot again.
To Maria Gibbs, to Chainsaw.
What the fuck?
Courtney Batchelor, Katie Brabenik, I miss you. And to our boy Bill Birch, who is hopefully, I'm not sure if he's home yet or not, but was recently in Africa.
Oh, good for you.
We left Bill down in Africa. No? Okay. Sorry. Anyway, spread the word. And if you want your name to be mentioned on the show and for us to be forever grateful and for you to be a part of a community that is just more than amazing, become a Patreon producer. All right.
Look, honestly, you could just PayPal me $2 and I'll fucking say your name. I don't care.
That is true. Even $1. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you'll take
$1.
You'll take
whatever.
whatever. Yeah, you'll take whatever.
Look, I got kids, man. They play hockey. I need money.
All right. Until next week, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate it. And stay safe out there, passengers. And as always, choo choo, motherfuckers.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
For $5, I'll put the video footage of me in my underpants on the show online.